Peaky Blinders, The 10 Hidden Truths, The Anatomy of a Legend. Trivia on screen. You ready? The truth was never in the razor blades. The truth was always under the cap. You just had to know where to look. Peaky Blinders isn't a show. It's a ghost written in smoke, forged in war, and sharpened by the memory of a country that survived its wounds but never truly healed. Today, TriviaPulse unites the 10 greatest Peaky Blinders truths. The same ones you watched in our shorts, now told as one cinematic story. A story not about crime, but about destiny, myth, and the lies we needed to believe. Take a breath, because Birmingham is about to rise from the mud again. The first truth is the lie everyone loves, the razor blades and the caps. The legendary image, the silhouette we all feared. But the real Peaky Blinders were youths from the 19th century. Decades before Tommy Shelby's world, too poor to afford razor blades, Peaky was the cap. Blinder meant someone dressed sharply enough to blind the room. They weren't named for their violence. They were named for their style. The truth was always under the fabric, waiting for someone bold enough to twist it into myth. But myths need temples. They need places where destiny echoes off the walls. And for the Shelbys, that place was the Garrison Pub, the beating heart of the empire. The birthplace of deals, betrayals, and oaths sealed with whiskey. Here's the second truth. The Garrison wasn't just a set. It was a real, abandoned pub in Birmingham. Forgotten, broken, silent, until the show resurrected it. A fan bought the ruins and rebuilt them brick by brick, turning fiction into history. Peaky Blinders didn't just tell a story. It brought a building back from the dead. Every legend needs a face. And the third truth almost rewrote history. Thomas Shelby was nearly played by Jason Statham. Stephen Knight had two choices: Statham's physical presence or Cillian Murphy's quiet storm. Murphy didn't flex, he whispered. He sent one message that changed everything. Remember, I'm an actor. Tommy Shelby isn't muscle. He's calculation wrapped in trauma. A man whose silence is louder than any shout. Murphy didn't play Tommy. He mineralized him, turned him into stone, into prophecy. And Tommy's enemies were never small. Darby Sabini wasn't fiction. He was the godfather of Britain, with deep alliances to Lucky Luciano, the architect of the American mafia. Their war was bigger than London. It was global, a collision of empires, both criminal and historical. Tommy wasn't just fighting a rival. He was stepping into an international underworld built long before he arrived. But in Peaky Blinders, even the dead refused to stay dead. Alfie Solomons was meant to die in season 4. Shot in the face. Story closed. But Tom Hardy's performance was so feral, so mythic, so alive, that Stephen Knight broke his own rules. I couldn't live in a world without Alfie, he admitted. Characters like Alfie don't obey scripts. They haunt them. They demand resurrection. And some blessings come from other legends. David Bowie, yes, Bowie, was one of the show's biggest fans. Before his death, he sent a photo of himself wearing a razor blade cap, a cosmic blessing from one myth to another. He personally requested his music be used in the show. Lazarus wasn't just a soundtrack choice, it was a farewell gift, a final whisper from the starman to Tommy Shelby. But truth hides in names too. Thomas, the most common soldier name after World War I. A ghost returning home, forgotten by the world he fought for. Shelby, a name rooted in horse racing. Speed. Risk. Gamble. Fate. His life story was in his name long before the first episode aired. A common soldier who rose to become a king and paid the price. Behind that rise stood a woman made of iron, Polly Gray. The eighth truth is that she wasn't invented. She was inspired by Stephen Knight's real great-aunt, a woman who ran illegal betting shops while the men were at war. A real matriarch who became the soul of the series. The truth of Peaky Blinders was never in its men. It was in its women. But even legends fear shadows. The ninth truth is the curse of the Grey Man, a real figure from Scottish folklore. A silent omen said to appear before tragedy. Polly's terror wasn't fiction. It was ancestral, whispered across generations. And finally, the darkest truth, the connection to Jack the Ripper. The police chasing the Shelbys were the same institution that failed to catch the Ripper, a stain they carried for decades. The darkness of Peaky Blinders wasn't invented, it was inherited. A shadow older than Birmingham itself. Peaky Blinders isn't a crime saga. It's a story of wounds that never healed. A family built from lies, truths, and ghosts. A city forged in smoke. A country trying to breathe after war. The truth was always under the cap. You just had to know where to look. Comment order if this legend still haunts you. And follow TriviaPulse. Share this video so more people can see the hidden side of the shows they love, or the truth was always on screen. You just had to know where to look. Bye bye.